This is Valley News Live at 5.
Hello again, everyone. A local couple is out $18,000. Police in Moorhead say earlier this month a woman called the two grandparents posing as their granddaughter, saying she was in a car crash with another woman and a baby. Police say the scammer told the couple she needed the $18,000 for bail. Someone posing as an attorney then called the couple and arranged to get the money. Police say a thin black man then showed up in a tan car, got the cash, and left. You're reminded to never give out information or money over the phone. A new Rockford bar wants to help the family of an 18-year-old killed by a hit-and-run driver last weekend. The owner of Bucket's Bar says it will donate 100% of its Saturday sales to the family of Kaylor Ellingson. The owner described Kaylor as respectful, smart, and kind, adding that this is a terrible loss to their community. There will also be donation jars if you choose to contribute that way. And if you're unable to make it on Saturday, there's a GoFundMe set up. We have a link attached to this story on our website. Meanwhile, the man charged with fatally striking Ellingson is out of jail after posting $50,000 bond. 41-year-old Shannon Brandt told investigators he purposely hit the teen after a political argument. He also said he was drinking alcohol before the incident. Well, my tomatoes made it through the night. No sign of freeze in southwest Fargo. Let's get the latest on what happened over the last 24 hours from Chief Meteorologist Hutch Jones.
Mike, thanks so much. Yeah, the weather outside was pretty frightful this morning for some of us as that cold settled in. But first, it is Weather Kid Day, sponsored by our friends at Luther Family Ford. And Gavin joins me now. Gavin Welsh joins me from Horizon Middle School, right?
Yep.
How old are you, young man?
12. I mean, 11.
You're 11, but soon to be 12 probably,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes.
And what grade are you in there?
I am in 6th grade.
Favorite class?
Math.
Math. Oh, love the numbers. How about other activities you do other than just study and go to school?
I play hockey, football, and baseball.
Very good. Well, that sounds real good. All right. Anybody you want to say hi to real quick before we get started with our numbers?
I would like to say hi to to Mrs. Schmidt's class.
Hello. Give them a big wave. Anybody else?
My brother.
Your brother. Okay, very good. Let's talk numbers. This morning it was a little on the cool side. We're going to look out this way. Why don't you point out where the warmest weather was this morning and some of the temperatures we had?
47 up in Alexandria.
Good. And then how about up in, say, Hallock? What was the temperature there this morning?
36.
How about the coldest weather you're seeing there? Where's that?
Langdon.
Yeah, what was their number?
Up here.
Is that above or below freezing, 30 degrees?
Below.
Below, very good. And why did you have me zoom into Langdon? You said, Hutch, you need to zoom into Langdon.
Because my grandparents live up there.
Oh, well, give them a wave. Smile, wave. Hi, grandparents. All right,
Hello.
It was chilly. And now tell everybody about the visibility, because we mentioned fog in the forecast yesterday. What do you got there for visibility? Where was it the foggiest?
Langdon and Oaks.
Yeah, so grandparents had a tough time seeing across the street there
Yeah.
with a 0-mile visibility. Temperatures now, why don't you point out a couple out in North Dakota for me? Don't be shy. Get out there with that arm and just stick her out there and tell me what temperature
Minot
it
is
is.
65.
Good. Okay, and now
Jamestown 60.
Okay.
And Bismarck another 60.
A lot of 60-degree readings out there. Let's sneak
Wow.
over to Minnesota and see what's happening on that side of the river. What do you see there? Point out a couple.
Fargo's about 60.
Good.
Bemidji's 58.
Excellent. Okay, now this is a look at the satellite radar. What's all this white stuff?
Fog.
Fog and clouds. That's right, and that's moving towards us. Now behind us here we got a big old smear of green. What is that, Jello, mold? What is that green stuff on
Rain.
there? Rain, okay.
Light rain.
So we've got light rain out here moving in our general direction as well. There's rain in the forecast. We have some thunderstorms out here in Montana. But can you tell everybody what that blue stuff is in Montana?
That is snow.
First day of fall, folks.
Snow.
Snow in the high country. This evening, Fargo's planner, temperatures sneaking down into the 50s, light winds, but more clouds. You get to do the Horizon Middle School school day forecast. Tell your students what they can expect in the morning.
50 degrees, exiting rain, south breeze.
Good. Now after school, why don't you sneak over here? Go ahead and point out that forecast and what you see there.
55 degrees, 1 to 2 passing storms.
Good. All right, and you gave that a grade of a B+. I give you a grade, young man, of an A+. And good luck in your football game tonight. Gavin, a pleasure to have you on board. Mike, we'll toss it back to you coming up in a minute. I'll have the timing on all our overnight showers and thunderstorms we see out in Montana now.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Increased public safety attracted several state leaders, including the governor today in Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz says the state has a very low tolerance for crime and safety, and that's their top priority. He said residents all need to work together to solve crime.
Just like with COVID, took a village, took a lot of people working on this, just like highway safety, and we put out the information. Folks need to be defensive, they need to help, they need to look. And when it comes to crime, we need to all work together to solve this. That's state, local, county, and it's individuals.
Walz says that they have hundreds of guns and over 20,000 fentanyl pills, and the numbers are staggering. Sexually transmitted infections are on the rise both in the metro and across the country, and it's sparking major concern, with healthcare officials calling on more screenings and better communication on safe sex among partners and families. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley spoke with experts today who say the problem is likely only going to get worse before it gets better.
The CDC says 2.5 million STI cases were reported nationwide last year, with no signs of slowing down.
We've been breaking records in a bad way, but more so in the last couple years, and not to blame everything on COVID, but this certainly is something that COVID did not help with.
Syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea are the three main health experts in the metro say they're concerned about the most.
Regardless of your age, regardless of whether or not you think this is something that could happen to you, make sure you're getting tested on a regular basis and having an open conversation with partners.
Dr. Kuba says while only 50% of young adults are likely to use protection, they're not solely to blame for the concerning spike in infections in the community.
We are seeing increased rates in like 50 and above, and that age group unfortunately is that much more less likely to have safe sex.
And Kuba adds, because most STD cases are asymptomatic, it's the leading cause of infectious infertility.
In the Fargo Moorhead area, I'll hear a lot of people say, well, yeah, but we don't have that here. Oh no, we have it here.
Kuba suggests getting tested every time you have unprotected sex, adding it's time for people to get back to routine checkups and taking preventative measures like using a condom. Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Experts also say many STDs are treatable or curable with medication, but if the spread continues, there could be roadblocks, as research has found treatment-resistant strains. A volunteer firefighter is fighting for his life in a Fargo hospital 3 days after crashing his motorcycle. Viking, Minnesota is just a small town. It has 80 people. 16 of them are volunteer firefighters. Tonight, they're all rallying around 28-year-old Devin Hoper after a motorcycle crash left him with serious injuries. His fire department says that he means a lot to their small community. We invite you to join us on Valley News Live at 6 for that story. A setback today for former President Donald Trump, as a federal appeals court unanimously ruled that the Justice Department can once again use the classified documents seized from his Florida estate as part of its criminal investigation. Before that decision, the former president again insisted he had declassified everything. Trump saying if you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it.
I think there's a process for declassifying documents, and I think it ought to be adhered to and followed.
These are documents that are about the national defense and are in no way personal records of his, and that defeats any claim he has to recovery or possession of these documents.
The appeals court noted that the Trump legal team had not presented any evidence about declassifying material. North Dakota 8th graders, listen up. There's still time to enter AAA's Discovery Crew Travel Contest. 60 winners from 14 states will go on a free week-long educational river cruise in Europe. Now, students have to answer 3 essay questions and submit a travel-inspired selfie. There's no entry fee, and you don't have to be a AAA member to win. AAA says it's all about giving back to the community and getting the next generation to experience travel. The deadline to enter the contest is tomorrow.
They love the experience. They love traveling with children of their own age. They love making friends. They loved exploring the world.
and learning more about the different cultures.
So far, just 10 North Dakota students have applied, so there's a pretty good chance of winning. If you'd like to enter, we have a link on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com. United Way held its Gobble It Up for United Way fundraiser this afternoon at every Hornbacher's location. That's where you could get a takeout lunch of a hot turkey sandwich, chips, ice cream, and a beverage for a suggested donation of at least $5.
It's awesome to see the community come together and really be passionate about people in need and poverty and see those needs and want to take action.
The money raised will go to the United Way, which in turn will give back to the community. Stick around later on Valley News Live at 5. Why now is the beginning of an incredible opportunity around the valley to see Mother Nature at her finest.
And we're wrapping up summer here. This is how our drought conditions looked last week. Now, set it into motion, the update that was just delivered today, expanding moderate drought through much of central and portions of eastern North Dakota, but rain is in the forecast. We'll have details on when and where right after this.